Hey guys, Tarke here, and I want to make a quick video about my Belfry Atlas strategy, because I think this is getting nerfed in one of the upcoming patches. So, why would I be farming Belfry of all maps, and why do I think GGG is going to be nerfing this, and why did I just run into that ability? No one knows the answer to any of those questions. So, as you'll see, in between the phases, it spawns 2 rare monsters alongside some magic monsters every time something happens. So then it spawns another more as it comes back up. And you can get, I think the most I've seen is 3 mods. I don't know if I've ever seen a 4 mod in this, but it's just like quite a good way of farming Arch Nem modifiers, because obviously most of the loot comes from Arch Nem modifiers. You want to get as many Arch Nems in your map as possible. And in the most recent what we're working on post, they said they want to limit the amount of modifiers that appear on certain boss encounters and on encounters that don't drop any loot. So I think Synthesis Maps was one of the examples, and a lot of people are thinking it's also going to be the Lava Lake, Belfry, and Desert Spring, although currently not on the Atlas map bosses. Which is a bit of a shame, because I'd actually been quite enjoying the strategy. I can understand why they're doing it, though. They want to try and, like, normalize the difficulty experience. And I think that pre the Arch Nemesis reworks, this would have been a lot more justifiable. But to be honest, right now, I think the state of Arch Nem is pretty reasonable. It's actually, like, pretty, like, decent. If it launched like this, I don't think they really would have had any of the issues. But anyway, let's talk about how I'm sustaining the strategy. And this is all from an SSF point of view, just based on what I'm doing. I'm not saying this is like the best trade league strat everyone should do, but I imagine a trade league setup of this could be much, much better. So in true Alkan Go fashion, I'm Stream of Consciousness plus Shadow Shaping. I did the same thing last league. Stream of Consciousness means that I just Alkan Go every map. I don't need to talk about any fragments or scarabs. And Shadow Shaping means that favored maps cannot appear, and it gives all maps a 1% chance to get a special implicit. So what I do is if we go to my Atlas, you can do this very early on, which is another nice thing about the strat. You only need 1 Watchstone to do it. So Belfry with 1 Watchstone is a tier 14 map. Tier 14 map is like the lowest you need to get Atlas memories dropping, get all the good lake rewards. Tier 14 is just a very good breakpoint in terms of like reward to difficulty. And then what you do is you favorite all other tier 14 maps except for Belfry. Now, because I've not unlocked everything, I've also got Alleyways, which is another map layout I really quite enjoy, not favored. So the only 2 tier 14s that can drop for me are Belfry and Alleyways. All other tier 14s don't drop. So that's how I'm making sure that I've always got Belfry, as I've always got Alleyways. Then, in terms of what my actual tree looks like, things I've been doing just to try and like further juice the setup. I've been messing around with all the Rogue Exile stuff, because the Rogue Exiles also give a whole bunch of uniques, which is very nice in SSF. So this gives us a chance for 20% additional Rogue Exiles. All Rogue Exiles are possessed. We then take all of these nice nodes, which give more quant. The Tormented Spirits can take over Katava, although it seems to only last per phase, so it's not the best for that, but still you get all the quant on all the Rogue Exile stuff. And then over here, more rare monsters in your maps are possessed and the means are touched, and again, all the loot's coming from rare monsters, so the idea is that we put as much juice on the rare monsters as possible. In terms of league mechanics, I've blocked everything but Abyss, because Abyssal Army gives a whole bunch of XP, and Abyss spawns a bunch of rare monsters, which is what we want, and it's a pretty quick mechanic. And then Essences, because Essences are rare monsters, Essences are good for crafting, and the other really neat thing is if you're duplicating Essence monsters, you get the loot twice. So if you hypothetically got like a Katava-touched Essence monster duplicated, you get 2 Katava-touched monsters, which means you get 2 times the fat loots, which is pretty neat. So that's what I've been doing. When they, or if and when, because we don't 100% know, but if and when they nerf Belfry, I'll be looking for a new map to pick. I'd probably mess around with using more Watchstones, because I'm not locked to then having to have Belfry as my only one. I'd probably jump to a multi-boss layout. When I was first progressing my Atlas, Coral Runes, it's not the best layout, but the boss has like 8 bosses or something crazy. This is the one that you encounter in Act 8. Is it Act 8? Yes, Act 8 in the Grain Gate, that boss. And then what you can do, if you're again trying to focus on getting uniques, is you can do enriched entities. I did a bit of this testing and it was pretty good, but because I'm missing some points, I can't fit everything all in one tree. But this gives a whole bunch of rarity to the map boss, and then the map bosses drop additional basic currency, which is very strong for multi-boss layouts, and then map bosses have a chance to be duplicated. If you didn't want to do core runes because it's a bad layout, I would also highly recommend City Square. And I also really like Racecourse. Racecourse density isn't the best, but Racecourse is like a real flash in the past map. I used to do that quite a lot back in the day when I used to do Giga Juiced hardcore trade. I got my level 100 in hardcore doing a bunch of Racecourse. But anyway, this is what my Atlas setup is. Might be interesting for some people. Curious to know what Atlas setups you've been doing, and if you've been finding success doing the whole Belfry / Lava Lake cheese, get as many Arch Nem monsters as possible. If you have got any questions about my setup and you would like me to do more videos like this going over my setups, then please let me know. I generally save this sort of stuff to the softcore trade players because that's what most people play. But in this case, since I am doing something specific, which is probably going to be nerfed, I thought I would document it. Anyway, I'm Tarke. Have a good day. Bye-bye.